Hello, so I'd like to kick off our webinar today. My name is Holland Lincoln and I'm with TenMarks. Today's webinar is called Reverse Summer Learning Loss with TenMarks, and I am joined by Nancy Galusha from Kettering City Schools. You'll notice that you can chat in questions throughout this webinar. We'll be monitoring the chat and we'll do a Q&A at the end to answer hopefully any of the questions you have about what we've covered. The webinar should take about 20 to 30 minutes, and so also if you have to leave early, we'll be emailing everybody who registered for the webinar with the recording of the webinar. So rest assured, if you can't stick with us the entire time, you can get the information you need. So we will start now. I'd first like to introduce Nancy Galusha. And so, Nancy, if you wouldn't mind giving us a little bit of background on who you are and your role within Kettering City Schools, that would be fantastic.
Okay, sure. Hi, my name is Nancy Galusha. This is my 25th year in education. I've taught special education, 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade. I've spent 10 years in central office being the math and science elementary curriculum leader, and now I'm back in the classroom to be able to use some of these wonderful programs that I've heard about and seen.
Thank you. And as I said before, my name's Holland Lincoln. I'm a senior marketing manager with TenMarks. I'm also a former classroom teacher. I taught middle school math and science for 5 years down in San Diego, in which we leveraged all sorts of technology in order to sort of individualize and personalize our curriculum. So briefly, let's go over what we're going to discuss today. We want to first off talk about the summer learning loss that happens for students over the summer, and specifically with regard to math. Then we're going to address the TenMarks free summer math program, talking about this program, specifically how it was implemented in the Kettering City Schools, and then how you as a teacher or administrator can leverage it within your own school or district. And then we'll wrap up with a little Q&A from the audience. So without further ado, let us get started. We all know that when students go away for the summer, despite our best efforts, they're generally losing 2 to 3 months of math learning. And it's really challenging. You know, as a teacher, and I think for all the teachers listening, you can understand that when those students come back in September and you realize that you need to spend at least a month getting them back up to speed in order to then begin the curriculum that you're supposed to teach that year, it can be extremely challenging and difficult, not to mention that students are coming in at all of these different places and you have to figure out at what level they're coming into your classroom and how much they've lost over the summer. And so what TenMarks is trying to do is to help support teachers with that summer learning loss and actually just prevent it. So the TenMarks Summer Math Program builds a strong math foundation and reverses summer learning loss for grades 1 through Algebra 2. What we found through our several years of running the summer math program is that of all of the students who actually participate in our summer math program, 69% of those students were able to reverse learning loss. So they take a pre-assessment at the beginning of the summer and a post-assessment at the end of the summer. And if they've done our summer math program, 69% of those students do not incur that 2 to 3 month loss of math curriculum. And of the 69% that don't incur that loss, they actually gain an average of up to 11%. So imagine that as a teacher in September, instead of having to deal with 30 students who have actually incurred a loss of some of their math content and skills and skill set, rather you're having 30 students who've coming in who are actually farther along than where they were at the beginning of the summer. That is something that I would definitely welcome if I was back in the classroom. So now that you know a little bit about what the TenMarks Summer Math Program is, we want to focus on how a school, and specifically a school district, Kettering City Schools, adopted this program and implemented it successfully throughout their district last year. And so, Nancy, I'm just going to ask you a few questions and have you sort of walk us through what that looks like for you. So if you could kick off by just giving us sort of a picture of Kettering City Schools, location, sort of demographic, that would be great.
Okay. As she said, I'm from Kettering, Ohio. Kettering is a suburb of Dayton. We're about 40 miles north of Cincinnati. Our total student enrollment here is about 7,200. We have 11 schools, 8 elementary, 2 middle, and 1 high school. 9 of our schools do qualify for Title I funding.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, and so why the TenMarks Summer Program? You know, what about this summer program appealed to you? What caused you to start looking for online summer math programs? If you could just walk us through sort of the decision-making process at a district level.
Okay, last year I was able to observe the park field testing in our district, and I saw firsthand how students were struggling with the equation editor that this park assessment has. And I knew that we had to do something to get our kids used to using technology and math. So we looked around, looked at a lot of programs, and found that TenMarks was the only program that offered that experience and technology. Also, in the past, our district has offered for sale workbooks for kids to work on in math, and when they found out they could do it online, they were thrilled. So we were looking for something that used technology, made the kids happy. The parents were happy because the kids were happy. We found that TenMarks definitely addresses the Common Core state standards, and it provides immediate formative feedback to the teachers so they can remediate or enrich right on the spot. The kids have found it very easy to use also.
That's fantastic. Thank you. It's good to know about that equation editor piece, that is a huge part of the PARCC test, and in order to really familiarize students with that tool, that they need to be using a tool in their classrooms or at home that has similar functionality. So now let's talk about the implementation of TenMarks. So I think we all know it's one thing to select a solution, but then it's a whole nother challenge to actually implement that solution in a district, because it requires buy-in of so many different constituencies, and especially if it's a summer program where you have less control over that end user. So what was your strategy around implementing the TenMarks Summer Program?
Absolutely. Being in central office, I realized that for a program to be successful, it needs to show success from students and need to have buy-in for teachers. So we originally sent out an email about the program to our teachers. We also sent out the TenMarks letters so teachers could download those and send them home. What we found was our teachers who had children right away put their own children on TenMarks, and they were able to see success in their own children's learning. I put a link on the district website, so when anybody ever went to our website, the very first thing they would see is free summer program in math. We also shared it with our PTA and PTOs, and we really emphasized that it was a free program. We also connected with our public libraries so that our students who didn't have technology at home could go in and they would say, I'm a Kettering City Schools student and I would like to get on TenMarks, and they made sure that they went to the front of the line. The parents commented that they really liked the support materials that were available, that they just went to support and they could find the videos, there were guides, and there were live webinars that they could get on to really understand the program.
That's fantastic. So I really like hearing this, because it's clear that you really need like a multi-pronged approach when you're trying to implement any sort of solution within a school district because of those multiple constituencies, but I would think even more so a summer program where you don't have necessarily direct access to that end user throughout the summer. They're not in your classroom, the students aren't in the classroom, but they're at home. And so the marketing efforts on the website, ensuring teacher buy-in, all of those are great tips. And thank you also for calling out the TenMarks support materials, because we have gone to great lengths to make sure that we have videos and how-to guides, and we answer all questions so that if students and parents are struggling with the program over the summer, that they have resources that they can turn to, people that they can turn to. So now we will move on and talk about the success of the TenMarks program and lessons learned. So I'm wondering if you can talk to us a little bit about how you as district administrators and within the district office were able to say, yes, this program worked. This program worked enough that we're going to continue to use it throughout the year and for next summer.
Okay, as I said, we got a lot of positive feedback from teachers with their own children. And what I've heard is that the teachers that used it over the summer with their own children right away at the beginning of the school year implemented into their classroom. We've also had parents asking about it in the schools, and I had a few students in my classroom when they came in, the first thing they asked was, are you going to use TenMarks? So they obviously enjoyed the program.
Fantastic. And then as you think about, the coming summer, which is upon us, what are some of the lesson learned? How will you iterate your approach to rolling out the summer math program to your students and to your teachers and to your families?
Okay, I know that our first grade teachers, the students who have finished first grade, are really encouraging their students to get on, the ones that are going to second grade. Also, some of their higher kids that are coming into first grade have been sent the letters to try to get on. As I said before, it's so critical to have teacher buy-in, and through the use with their own children, I think we have that. Also, in my own classroom, what I've done is I have showed my students their growth. We use Ames Web 3 times a year, and I've showed them their charts, and I've talked about how they need to avoid that dip in the fall, and I would offer them some type of incentive. If they come see me in the fall, I'll pull the report card off of TenMarks, and I will have something here for them. It's not going to be a dog and pony show, but it's going to be maybe some Smarties or Jolly Ranchers or something like that, so it's not going to cost a lot of money.
Well, I think all teachers who are listening can understand that candy is very persuasive in the classroom, even if it's a small sort of token of candy, and yeah, whatever it takes. I think I just like how you're able to articulate that it's not only incentivizing the students to participate in the program, but ensuring that the teachers understand the value of such a program and how it actually makes their lives easier. So having that teacher buy-in is obviously really, really essential. And hopefully those of you on the phone can take some of these statistics and these anecdotal stories that you're hearing from Kettering City Schools and let your teachers know that by implementing a program like this and encouraging your students and families to use it over the summer, it can really make your life easier when you return in the fall. So let's quickly just go over what the TenMarks Summer Program is. Again, to remind everybody, this is a free program. Okay, and so the program components, well, what does it consist of? And so when a student signs up for this, and when you get a family to sign up, this student for the summer program, the student takes a grade level diagnostic test at the beginning of the program. Based on their how they do on the test, they receive an individualized curriculum from TenMarks based on that initial assessment. So this is a completely personalized curriculum that they then work throughout the summer on, okay? And so part of the TenMarks online curriculum is that within all of our assignments and assessments, we have hints and videos to support learning, and this is to support anytime, anywhere learning, and it's just in time. So it's when a student is struggling with a problem, they can access these hints and videos, and instead of getting discouraged and deciding, hey, you know what, I'm not going to do this math assignment anymore, I'm going to go out and I'm going to go, play in the yard, instead they can remain focused, and then they get the support when they need it. They also have access to real-time interventions with amplifiers. So as they're actually within a problem, struggling with it, if they do not get it correct, we will immediately create an amplifier or push an amplifier out to them, which will then help them to reteach the concept and allow them to go back into the problem and actually be successful with it. So it's really setting up the students for success. And then once they've worked through their entire curriculum, they take an end of summer assessment. And this end of summer assessment shows them, okay, this is where you started at the beginning of the year, and this is where you ended. And that's really valuable data. It's valuable data for the parents, for the student, and especially for that teacher. So the parents have the ability to share the results, share their students' results, their son or daughter's results with the teacher once school begins. And I mean, I can't emphasize how empowering this can be for everybody involved, because now you have a teacher who has a valuable set of data and benchmarks upon which they can then build a curriculum for the remainder of the year. And the parents and students have a really strong sense of what the student accomplished over that summer, and how instead of losing 2 to 3 months of math, they were actually making gains. And that's extremely encouraging all around. So this essentially is the TenMarks Summer Math Program. Again, it is free, and the goal of the summer program is to prevent this funny little cartoon you see here. You know, once you say bye to those students in June, oh, you know, it can be a little daunting knowing that they're going to come back in September possibly, and you're going to have to do a ton of work to get them back up to speed. So we want to prevent this with the TenMarks Summer Program. And so we encourage you to sign up today to get materials that you can just start distributing to your teachers and to your families. You simply go to summermath.tenmarks.com. And again, as Nancy mentioned, we have a lot of collateral and materials that we've developed to help you roll out this program to your respective communities. So that pretty much wraps up the presentation part of this webinar, and now I'd like to open it up to Q&A. As you all know, there is a chat window where you can chat in questions to the entire group, and I can answer them there. There's also a question window where you can put in specific questions that you need answered. A few have come in already, and I will go ahead and address those for the entire group. So, Nancy, the first question is for you, and the question is, are there math facts / sort of like a fluency component to the summer program?
Yes, they're called jam sessions, and the students get on and they can choose what they want to learn, and it's immediate feedback for the students, and they're quick. My students love to get on them.
Wonderful. Okay, great. I also, just another question came in. This is something I can handle. It says, how do teachers get the student report cards from the end of the summer that you mentioned? And so this is a really important part of the program, because that data, as a teacher in a district, you want to capture that data. That's what makes the program really powerful. So in order for the teachers to get those report cards for all of their incoming students, parents need to email them to the child's teacher at the end of the summer. And so we make sure that we put some messaging in the summer program. We have a banner that appears on the parents' homepage starting on August 10th, reminding them to send their student's report card to the child's teacher. The parent can then enter the teacher's email address, so all they'll need is, you know, whoever their incoming math teacher, their email address, and then they can say, okay, send Johnny's report card to that teacher, and then the teacher will get it via email. All right, Nancy, another question for you is, now that you've used TenMarks as a summer program resource, and also it seems like you've used TenMarks within the school year, what are some of your favorite features about the online math program?
Actually, my students' favorite features, they really like the games. With every, I think it's 6 assignments they complete, they get a game, and it's not a very long game. It's really fast. It's not real exciting, but they love it, and it kind of gives them a break. My students will actually come in and ask to get on TenMarks in the morning, which doesn't happen all the time.
That's very compelling, I would say. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So another question that just came in is, our school is an existing premium customer of TenMarks. That means they're a paid customer. What options do we have for the summer program? And that's a great question. So basically, schools can encourage premium schools that are already using TenMarks. So for instance, Kettering City Schools. Schools can encourage parents to sign up for the free summer math program, but then teachers can continue to create assignments for students over the summer. And so basically, when the student logs in, he or she will have the option of selecting either the free summer program and that individualized curriculum that's been built for that student, or his or her normal classroom account. So the teacher throughout the summer can actually be sending assignments to students just using the regular premium account.
Can I comment again? You said my favorite part of the program.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about the report that the teachers can get. The report actually will say these were the most common mistakes made, and that really helps me then zoom in on those kids and be able to correct their thinking so we can go on.
Wow. Yeah, that's fantastic. We've heard that sort of across the board, that the reporting piece of TenMarks, which is a really powerful piece of the software, it's like we collect data all the time these days, but often we don't make sense of the data. And so TenMarks has gone that extra step to make sure that from that data we're able to synthesize some really key takeaways and provide those to the teachers and administrators so that they can more effectively, teach in the classroom. All right, so another question here is that's just come in. If students have been using TenMarks in their class this year, can they use their current existing username and password for the summer program? And that's a great sort of just logistical question, really basic but really important. And the answer is yes, they can. So parents would add the free summer math program to an existing student account, and the students would just continue to use their same username and password to log in over the summer. And parents can also enter their child's current username and password during the sign-up process. And parents can be monitoring what their students are doing within the summer program, and the parents can provide incentives. So, Johnny, if you do these 4 assignments, you will go get ice cream on Friday afternoon. And so there's just in the same ways that teachers sometimes use fun little candy and treat incentives in the classroom, parents can do the same thing within the TenMarks Summer Program. All right. So I see a few more questions coming in here. Nancy, this is a question for you, and it's about how you distributed the letters that TenMarks provided for you about the summer program. So did the letters get distributed by each classroom teacher, or did the district distribute them at a district level?
No, we sent them to the teachers, and the teachers, some of the teachers have Friday folders, and they would put them in their Friday folders. Other teachers put them in the students' mailboxes, the older students. We left it up to the classroom teacher. Okay,
great. Thank you. Yeah, and I think that's nice. Teachers often like to sort of be, because they know their students the best, and they know probably what's the best method in order to really make something stick for their students and their parents, sort of the best approach there. And so this is actually a question, one more question for you, Nancy, sort of before we wrap up today, which is, so it's clear that Kettering City Schools then transitioned, after using the TenMarks Summer Program, you guys transitioned into using TenMarks throughout your school year in your math classrooms. And so the question is from someone who's listening, when teachers use the program in the classroom, how do they use it? Do they use it in centers? Do they use it as whole group instruction? Is it only during the computer lab time? Just like what's your model for implementing this sort of online math curriculum?
All of the above.
Oh, really?
How I use it in my classroom is I use it when we do stations, I'll use it there. But I know in our middle school they have math labs, and so they use it in the lab. So it just depends on the teacher and how they teach and how they implement math. I know that I've used the jam sessions for math fluency. Our district says they should have 10 minutes of math fluency every day, and so sometimes I'll put them on a jam session for 10 minutes. It just depends on the teacher and how they use it. And I've also used it both for enrichment and remediation, because of TenMarks I can take my students and adjust their assignments based on their needs.
Right, wonderful. Yeah, I think, I would just echo what you're saying is that, even on the TenMarks side, we've seen schools and teachers really use it in a variety of different ways. And just like the TenMarks curriculum is individualized for students, sort of how you use TenMarks is really individualized and personalized to the teacher and what works best in their classroom. We had another question just come in, which was, do the assignments come with deadlines where the work is evenly distributed throughout the summer? About how many assignments are given to the students per week? And so this is specifically about the summer program. You know, it's a playlist or sort of a series of assignments that we've evenly paced throughout, you know, what we would expect to be a typical summer. And so it's not like there's so much work that they have to do that there's no way that they can complete it. So we make it very reasonable. And another question that just came in is, what platforms is the program compatible with? And so this is web-based. TenMarks Math does have both apps for iOS and Android, but as long as you have access to any sort of, you know, web browser, you can log into TenMarks. And so this is truly anytime, anywhere learning. You know, regardless of whatever device you're on, you can access your program, you can log in, and you can work through some math assignments.
We use Chromebooks, so yes.
Oh, you guys use Chromebooks?
Mm-hmm.
And then Nancy, but I would expect that the students take the Chromebooks home with them over the summer, or over the summer are they just sort of on their own in terms of how they would access the TenMarks Summer Program?
We haven't jumped that bridge yet as far as sending them home with our elementary students. I know the middle school does. That's why we also partner with our library. So even if students don't have internet at home, they can go to the libraries in the summer and get on TenMarks there.
Wonderful. Okay, great. And then my the last question that I think is very important is, when will the summer program be available to preview online? Because if you go to summermath.tenmarks.com, right now you're going to get information about the summer math program. You'll get flyers that you can distribute to parents and teachers and students. But in terms of when it actually will launch, the program is going to launch May 19th and it will run through August 31st. So again, I encourage you to go to summermath.tenmarks.com. If we didn't answer some of your questions today, you can answer them all. You can find answers to all of those questions on the website. At this point, registration is open for its pre-registration, essentially. So we're signing you up for the program, and once the program launches, we will send out emails to you letting you know exactly how to roll it out to your students. But in the meantime, you can access some of the letters and the resources to start getting your teachers on board. Again, we will be, this whole webcast has been recorded, and we'll be sending out a recording of this webcast to everybody who registered. So if you had to leave early, you will get the whole 9 yards, and also if you weren't able to make it, or if you want to pass on this information to some of your colleagues, you can shoot the email to them, which will include a recording of the webinar. Nancy, I would like to give a huge thank you for taking your time today to talk to us about what's taken place in Kettering City Schools, and I wish you the best this summer, and just thanks again for joining us.
Sure, thank you.
All right, and thank you to the audience for joining us today. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care.